Welcome to another Lispy review. Today I'm going to review a book that is near and dear to my heart because the author is my author boyfriend, and if he doesn't know it, now he does. Jason Reynolds is my boo. My husband knows that I love him. It's fine. Everything's fine. Anyway, so in March, before all this craziness happened, actually it was during spring break when the craziness was just starting, and we were just about to go into lockdown, I got to see the amazing Jason Reynolds in person, brought to Austin by Book People. You just had to buy a copy of the book, and I got to have a signed copy. He didn't do personalization. He signed them all ahead of time because COVID and everything. But it was beautiful and wonderful to see him speak. It was wonderful. I got to go with Amanda Hunt, who is another member of the Texas Maverick Graphic Novel Reading List Committee. And she is the Oak Run Middle School librarian in San Marcos, I think. Anyway, shout out to Amanda, who also introduced me to TikTok. So we got to see Jason Reynolds and he got to speak about his new book called Stamped: Racism, Anti-Racism, and You. And it is a remix of the National Book Award winning Stamped from the Beginning by Dr. Ibram X. Kendi. And Jason Reynolds shared how Dr. Kendi approached him and asked him to write this remix of his original book so that it is relatable today. Because the original book is like this thick, and it's very wordy, and it's very professional. Kids wouldn't read it. But this book, I can't wait to hand it to kids because it is amazing. So Jason Reynolds goes from the beginning, like truly true beginning. He starts in 1415 with the story of the world's first racist all the way to today. So you hear about racism. Sorry, I listened to the audiobook, which is read by Jason Reynolds, and the music in it is so good. And Jason Reynolds reads it. Like, if that's not enough reason for you to listen to the audiobook, then we can't be friends. But the audiobook was fantastic. And it's only like 3 hours long because it's not a super long book. Okay, that's a terrible way to say things. But it's only 248 pages. Now, to someone like me, 248 pages is like, to a non-reader, 248 pages is a lot. But the audiobook is only 3 hours. So that's like 10, 30-minute walks. I probably did that math wrong. But either way, I listened to it while I was walking my dog. And I loved it. It was very educational. This is nonfiction. And it was so, so good. Just to hear the history of racism and how Jason Reynolds explains like how a lot of times people don't know they're being racist, and truly they think that they are doing what is best for all people, not just their own people of their own color or like anyone. They think they're doing what is best, and that's what's important to remember, is that people are doing what they think is best. And he goes through how time and politics and religion and so many influences play into racism and where it has come and where it's gotten to today, and how young people and youth and students and teachers and librarians, people like us, are truly the people to help other people understand what being an anti-racist really is and what that means. And it's really just saying, I love you for who you are, and I love you for what you represent and who you are, and the way you are, and the way you are is perfect and fine the way it is right now. And it really makes you think, because he says that there are times when you can be a racist without knowing it. And there are different terms for what he calls racism. And there are segregationists, assimilationists, and then there are anti-racists. And I love how Jason Reynolds explains how those ideas come. Segregationists are truly people who want a separation between African Americans and themselves. Assimilationists are people who think like if Black people could do this, then they could, be this. And it's weird. And then there's anti-racists, who are people, like I said, that are like, you do you, I love you the way you are, whatever. They are, as he claimed, like your true friends, the people who have your back. And I loved it. This was such a good book. And again, the audiobook was amazing because Jason Reynolds reads it. And if you've never gotten to hear him speak, go watch his YouTube videos right now, because when he speaks, He is so eloquent and so passionate that you can't help not to just be like, he's amazing. Because he's just so smart and he's so well put together when he speaks that there are no ums, there are no awkward pauses. He just goes and it's amazing. Um, Not for any other reason other than the fact that he truly knows what he's talking about. And he truly wants us to be better. And he truly wants to have youth be better. And so that they can change the world and so that they can make more anti-racists, so that we can really truly become a community of anti-racists and truly put an end to racism. So, like he says, this is not a history book. This is a book about the here and now and a book about race. And it's truly important. I think everyone should read it. I think it should be a textbook. I think it should be in every library, every classroom, every home library, every phone, everywhere people can read it. Like, this book is important because it makes you think and it makes you question your own ideas and your own values and think like, oh, that there was a point where I did something like that, or oh, I've never thought about that before. Like, it's important to understand where and how and why racism is. So I loved it. It was fantastic. It was great. Like I said, I heard the audiobook. It was great, and I highly, highly recommend it. So that was Stamped: Racism, Anti-Racism, and You by Jason Reynolds and Dr. Ibram X. Kendi. Bye, y'all.